we can introduce the panelists. Are they here? Hi, how are you, Ahmed? Ahmed is the manager, Ahmed Hussein is the manager of the Eco-Industrial Department, Chemonix, Egypt consultant. Welcome. Dina is a good friend. Dina Nasser Haraki, the executive director of Global Impact. Dina, I've got these for you, just for you.
Thank you so much. So happy to receive
and
you.
Maisa Abu Adal is a member of the BOD IAC and CSO of Holdal. Maisa, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Christine, I would love to take over this panel, but it's yours. We have the cubes ready for you. There's nothing like the global economy and going global as we end today our event. Sustainable Development Goals is big. And Dina, I know you know, this is a very important mission to your heart. Christine, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and apologies for the technical mishap, which is normal during these days. I would like to thank everybody who's still hanging around today with us. It's been a long day, an amazing day. I had the chance to attend some sessions. Thank you for having us. We are indisputably going through one of the most recent challenging times, especially for us in Lebanon, with the pandemic highlighting systematic failings, fragilities, and inequalities in our world. We have realized that we can no longer operate with the value set that we operated through 2020. The 20th century, and there is a need to shift in the values system in order for us to change the mind that created the problem, to be able to create sustainable businesses, communities, and countries. Today in our panel, with our esteemed panelists, we will shed the light on the importance of the corporate sector in building a better impact economy, the role of social innovators and entrepreneurs, in addition to the crucial role of the civil society in building sustainable communities. Dina, I would like to welcome you to our panel. As Yumna already said, you're the executive director of the UN Global Compact Network Lebanon. You have an experience of over 15 years, and you have demonstrated history working with NGO management industry and the private sector in the MENA region. You are passionate about social entrepreneurship as you're driven by impact. Not only do you sit on the board of the association of the Beirut Marathon Association, but you are also a marathon runner yourself. You, I would like to say, run the talk and not walk the talk. Welcome, Dina. I would also like to welcome Maisa Abu Adal Ghanem, board member at Holdal Group Lebanon, social entrepreneur, change catalyzer, growth enabler, family and corporate governance facilitator, federator, proud mother, and a globetrotter, and who's currently now with us from Barcelona. Last and not least, Dr. Ahmed Hussein. Am I pronouncing your name right? So Dr. Ahmed is from Egypt. He's, as Yumna said, the manager of the Eco-Industrial Department at Chemonix. He's also a holder of PhD in electrical engineering from the University of Toronto, backed with over 10 years of experience in research and consultancy in clean technologies in the MENA region and North America, co-founder of multiple firms in the green economy field. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we have a vast experience sitting in one room. We don't want to count the number of the years. I would like to start with you, Dina. In the context of our conversation today, how do the SDGs drive change and social innovation in times of crisis or in challenging times?
First of all, hello to the audience, and I'm honored to be on this panel. And definitely, we are in challenging times. As you all know, in 2015, more than 190 world leaders, they committed to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals with the purpose of eradicating poverty, hunger, fighting inequality and injustice, and to fix the climate change and protect the environment. We all want this. But ever since the SDGs, they have been launched, the challenge was how to translate these global goals into action, and more precisely, to drive change in these challenging times, as you said, Christine. While the SDGs are universal, but also they address the priorities and the reforms at the national level. Here, the Global Compact networks in over 85 countries. And in Lebanon, what we do is we provide the platform for the private businesses to engage with all the stakeholders. This is, the rule. You engage with the government, UN system, civil society, and communities to make a shared approach. But what we have to do is we have to align, first of all, to these SDGs and to take the decision. And because they represent the reform that each one of us, wants and is looking forward for a better world. They have proven that social innovation is the force for change. And nowadays, business, they cannot work as usual. Like now we are doing business and panel through virtual since how many months? We innovated, we created, a solution. And the SDGs, they need to be at the core operations, daily core operations, to help determine every business and decision it should be done. But we have to take what is the right decision to be made and for right reasons and for the, what we need in each country at the national level, not just, talk and jump on a bandwagon. These global challenges, all the SDGs, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, they require innovation approaches, but moreover, new partnerships to promote responsible public and private investments. What we can do, for example, I will give you here, if you can allow me to give you an example. When we came to Lebanon 1 year ago, our community, 50% are living under poverty. So as Global Compact Network Lebanon, we are a platform, but we thought we cannot stay without taking actions. So we did a partnership with the World Food Program on the National Poverty Targeting Program to be able to increase the number of e-food card vouchers, to have more families to profit from these cards and for the vulnerable, Lebanese families. Now, another example, after Beirut blast, we cannot sit and say only advocacy. We have to walk the talk. So what we did, for example, we did a relief initiative where we are mixing the strengths of our members with the needs of the country. I'm giving, some examples that each network is trying to do with their own, country. So for us is plan, implement, and act quickly. And no individual action is too little. Each person, by putting, for example, their bit, they can make a huge difference. As much as the global goals are big, let's make it our daily goal.
Amazing, Dina. And what I loved about what you're saying is how adaptable they are to certain circumstances within crises, such as the ones you've mentioned in Lebanon. Maisa, I would like to build on what Dina has shared with us so far relevant to the SDGs. If you may briefly, what have you done so far as Holdal Group? And in what way did the SDGs help you to succeed in this endeavor?
Thank you, Christine, and thank you, Dina. I'm actually going to focus on the past 12 months, if you don't mind, because it's been really incremental and exponential. So I can really talk pragmatically, although we've been committing to these SDGs for far too long. So internally, what we've done, Christine, is that with the triple crisis hitting Lebanon, first of all, we started internally on driving the monthly solidarity funds, because this was very important to our internal community. The second thing is maintaining all the scholarships. So every year we were providing scholarships. It's a program called Najah, but this year we saw the exponential demand because a lot of families who were considered middle class shifted with the crisis in Lebanon. Protecting jobs is really important, and recruiting, despite the huge hit on performance of the company. Moral and psychological support, medical support, ongoing communication with all stakeholders, and procedure, because the private sector has a very important role to play. We needed to recalibrate all the policies to adapt to the current context and to ensure safety and well-being of our community. And last but not least, unfortunately, on the internal level, we had 50 homes of families blasted by the Beirut tragedy. We had to rebuild them and cover for that. Externally, locally, we drove several solidarity funds via My Goodwill Box that has always existed. We just took the platforms, took the consumers, and we said, let's do it all together. And every month we collaborate with one initiative. So in this case, we are collaborating with the Beirut Relief Initiative this month. We supported our local partners who needed us as well in relief rehabilitations. 50 volunteers of Holdal deployed their help to support several NGOs we've been working with for the past decade. And on an international level, because we work with multinationals and we have very solid partners, we launched the Beirut Solidarity Fund, and we have hundreds and thousands of products in terms of basic needs, whether it's personal hygiene, whether it's medical supplies, whether it's home care, to provide them to more than 20,000 families and 14 NGOs. So everything we did, just use the power, use the leverage, use the trust that we had with all our community, local and international, to cater for several needs, because we had to manage a multiple crisis. And finally, on the SDGs, what is very important to note, it's always been an inherent part of our culture for the longest I've known. The only difference is that since 2018, we have been consistently and continuously integrating the SDGs in our strategy, in our culture, in our leadership, in our day-to-day decision-making. So basically, at the end of the day, there is no one function or one department driving the SDGs. It's part of the day-to-day job and role of everybody else. So it makes things much more sustainable. You drive more impact, and you are also calling many stakeholders to ensure the sustainability of any initiative that you take.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, I love the way you have put it, that the SDGs has become an inherent part of your culture rather than just an objective to achieve. So it has been no longer external, it has become internal. And I love how you have built the relationships, internally and externally as well, in order to achieve all the work you've done so far. Amazing. God bless all your efforts. Ahmed, I would like to move to you. When I was preparing this panel, I came across a very interesting piece of information that made me think of how was that possible. And I think you are the right person to ask. How was Egypt able to rank first in the region with 50% increase in the implementation of the Sustainable Developmental Goal in 2020, despite the pandemic? What were the drivers behind that achievement, in your opinion? And what are the lessons learned that you can share with our audience and the participants? Ahmed, we have a problem with your mic. Ahmed?
Can you hear me now? Huh?
Yes, we can. Hi, Ahmed.
Yeah. So, hi, how's it going? So I think this is just really happened in East. The pandemic, it was the culmination of things that has been happening in Egypt in the last few years. And I think we noticed or realized or got convinced by various circumstances that SDGs are not a luxury, they are a necessity. It's like, just to give you an example, this is a country of 100 million people, one of the fastest growing populations. We have water poverty that's not going to get any better if we continue doing what we do. We import our food, not net importer of energy. We do not have a surplus of natural resources. So for us, I think we were put under pressure because of economic challenges post-2011, 2016, with a net importing country of energy and food. The currency was floated. It lost 70% of its value. So we realized that we have to survive. And actually, this pressure was healthy. It was good for us to provide better social security. It was good for us to provide more efficient energy systems because we were not having enough energy, and so on and so forth. So I think this shift from having it something on the long term, something that is bit looked at sometimes in a I would say sophisticated manner as something that is global, not close to the average person in the street. Suddenly from 2011, 2016, it was our daily challenges. And I think that helped us to go into the pandemic more prepared than if we had not had these crises before. So lesson learned is that I think for SDGs, we have to push this to the mainstream, to the center topic. It's not something secondary. You know, most of these indicators in models, in economic models, in our analysis, we call them secondary effects or secondary impacts, right? If food poverty industry is secondary, what is primary? So it's a shift of priorities.
Amazing, amazing. So moving to you, Dina, and very quickly, because we're running our time, we still have around 6 minutes. You spoke about the private sector role within building better communities through the SDGs. What do you think really makes the difference to drive the impact and the desired result? Dina? We lost Dina.
Yes. No.
No. Okay.
From my experience at the Global Compact Network Lebanon, no matter what is the size of any company, businesses cannot thrive when a word of poverty, inequality, environmental stress, or, like Maisa is saying, and Ahmad, we are under pressure, emergency. I don't keep it, it's not a luxury anymore. And here, what they can do, the companies, they can identify, and it is a decision, like Maisa was saying, from top till down, and it's a decision made to build better communities while we can drive also financial performances. Because first they saw that SDGs, if we do them, we don't have time, we are a small company. This is not true. It proved that while we are doing, progressing on the SDGs, we can still have value for our money, for our, work, and we can improve. Because all companies, they will have gain from more resilient communities, from reliable, access to natural resources, from an educated, healthy, and inclusive population that will represent their task force. So, as we mentioned, we should, the SDGs, we should, support our 5 Ps, the priorities: people, the heart of everything; work on people, human resources; planet, it's our only, we don't have any planet B; prosperity, the peace and partnership, by talking together, making cross-sectional, by bringing diversity and decision making, going and having the gender, the youth, and the startup, by having on the policies, because we have to start with our own internal policies, but we have to advocate at the level of the government. And again, we repeat, technology and innovation is the enabler change. We have to walk the talk. This is immediate actions. Plan your strategy, your daily operation.
Thank you, Dina. Now my question is addressed to both Ahmad and Maisa. And I would like to start with Maisa first. Why, as a consequence of the pandemic, there has been more efforts on supporting social entrepreneurs, and what role can they play, Maisa, within a more sustainable world?
It's funny because it's interesting. I often consider the Holdal like a private social enterprise for always, and never really made the difference between being a private family business and the social and the human factor of why we exist as a business. It's a very interesting thing, but today for family business, it's a crucial differentiator. And the social entrepreneurs, for me, why? Because they are the new transformational leadership, because they are everywhere. They are the responsible actors of change. They are the innovators. They are the disruptors. They think long-term. They think sustainable value creation, and you can find them anywhere, in the startup, in the private, in the NGOs, in the MNCs, in the MSMEs, in the MSMBs, but it's a mindset, and it's people who are driven by purpose and by values. And this is what keeps us alive every day, and that gives us the oxygen to really think of the long-term impact we can have on the community.
Amazing. Ahmad, would you like to add?
I would really like to add that I think we need to see the reality of what it is. I think we look at social entrepreneurs as youth that we are trying to help them solve their problems or find a way out. We don't need to help them. We need to help ourselves by giving them space. I really wish that governments, we had one incubation program where it was around environmental issues. This, I think, cost 1 million EGP. These companies paid 90 million EGP in taxes within 4 years. This is something we need. It's not something they need. They already have their motivation and goals. They don't need us. We need to make more space for them. So I would say at least not to drag them down. Leave some space if we cannot help.
Amazing, amazing. I like how you flipped it around in the sense of we are the one who needs them, because people always think that they need us. It's amazing. I see Yumna in the background. Yumna.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm here to announce that it must come to an end.
It will come to an end. Thank you so much. I would like to close with Dina. And Dina, again, very briefly, because this is one of the key questions. Yes. What role does the civil society play in advancing the Agenda 2030?
The civil society proved to be the most efficient and successful partner in advancing the Agenda 2030. They are complementing and sometimes replacing the government, in many places, especially in Lebanon. We have to say the responsible civil society, they have all the capacities, they have the trust, and they have, they are advocating with the local and multinational to be able to address the risks, to push for the policies and to open opportunities. So for us, where civil society is welcome, communities are more safe, more secure, and more prosperous. So we have to work together. Partnership is very important, and especially also with the civil society.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Closing today, I would like to leave you with that thought. Drowned in the ambiguity and complexity of the great pause, because really the pandemic has put us in a pause, we have found ourselves confronted with a blank page on which we needed to do things differently for us to move forward. And I think this is where the opportunity lies, because everybody might see it as a crisis, of course. So let us not miss this opportunity as humans, entrepreneurs, organizations, and governments, and benefit from the SDG frameworks to rebuild a new world where we live all together on a common collective set of values and principles. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for having us. Thank you for amazing input, our panelists. And I will leave you back with Yumna. Thank you, Yumna, and have a lovely evening, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you, Christine. Thank you.
So elegantly and so relevantly. I think it's important to note that these kinds of events, they start a discussion, but the discussion it doesn't end here. This is what I'm trying to say. And in our case, it literally doesn't end here, because this floor will be open for the next 2 hours for anybody who wants to come in, talk, discuss, network, read up, meet people. I say meet people because digitally you can even do that as well. It's important to say that our event has come to a close. I want to take this opportunity to thank all our partners, the European Union, Berytech, Anima Investment Network, and all the speakers who today came forward and gave us their time and gave us their input and shared their insight. All our attendees, wherever you were attending, wherever you were tuning in from, all across the world, thank you for keeping us in mind. This was the first Digital Euromed Scale Up Innovation Day. It's come to a close, but again, let me remind you that you can hop in, hop out for the next 2 hours. The floor is open to network and reach out to people you want to talk to. And on that note, I'm Yumna Naufal, signing off from Beirut. Good night.